of the strength of business they have. Ashutosh Gupta joins us now. It gives me great pleasure to bring him on board, country manager with LinkedIn. Ashutosh, good morning. Thank you for joining us. It's the first time I'm interacting with you. So a very warm welcome to ET Now and thank you for joining us. Ashutosh, first thing which everybody wants to know is that what is the new normal for the job market? It's like saying a reset button has been pressed.
Absolutely. First of all, I think the pandemic has disrupted life and professions for companies across the globe, right? And they have thrust us into this business unusual world, right? We have dealt with financial crisis in the past, but a financial crisis or economic crisis coupled with a health crisis, that's a first for everybody, literally. So everybody's struggling, everybody's trying to find the answers. They are like unprecedented shock on what has happened, right? And during these times, the platforms like LinkedIn, we have our work cut out from a professional community perspective to really help and share insights and how it's going to shape up in the near future. So I think when we went into lockdown in early April, we launched LinkedIn Workforce Confidence Index. It was our way to figure out how our professional community is feeling, where their confidence levels are, and do a pulse check on the confidence level. So I think it's a great way to connect back and also understand from the community on how they're spending their time, what are the top of mind things which they are thinking, right? So to your question, coming back to your question, what will be the new normal? I'll stay away from that phrase, Nikunj, but I would definitely say how things are shaping up right now. Whether it's a new normal or not, that is something which we'll have to see and we'll have to wait over the time. So I think first thing which that survey told us was confidence across the Indian professional community member base which participated in that survey is fairly reasonable. I would say the word I would use is cautiously optimistic. So just to give you a little bit of details on the survey, we poll on the confidence survey on a scale of -100 to 100. And we have been getting scores around 49, 50. The last one had a score around 49. And it has not really declined over the last 6 weeks, Nukunj. So I would say that cautious optimism continues. And there are many, many dimensions across this, which we will talk over next few minutes. But that's my first headline, saying that the community is cautiously optimistic about it. And the second thing, which I would say, and we can spend more time on this as well, is, rescaling is going to be the road. It's going to be a key factor. It's going to help us recover from this crisis, right? So it's going to play a very important role. And that's where I think we have come together as Microsoft, LinkedIn, and GitHub. And we have launched a digital skills initiative for 25 million people across the globe so that we can help them understand how to be more digital savvy. What are those jobs which are right now in demand and what are those skills they can acquire? So as I said, like two things to remember, right? I think the confidence is cautiously optimistic and reskilling is going to be the most important factor to the road to the recovery.
Okay, so let's use the word reset. Historians use the phrase of AC and BC to describe timelines. Let me use pre-COVID and post-COVID. What, to your mind, are the skills which were required in the pre-COVID world will not be required in the post-COVID world?
So I'm glad that we have aligned on our terminology. So let's talk about reskilling, right? So first of all, I think people don't have to do the hard work of figure out what skills will be in the demand. We have done a lot of that groundwork for the professional community. So we have economic graph data, which we can use to share insights and tell the community on what we are seeing, at least on the platform, and it's going to be relevant for each one of them. So I think LinkedIn, the vision is to, help create economic opportunity for all professionals, and that manifests itself into an economic graph. So first of all, what is economic graph, right? So economic graph is, data which is related to 690 million members we have on the platform, 50 million companies, 11 million jobs, 36,000 skills, 90,000 schools. When you put all this together, imagine a graph, and all of these are nodes, and there's economic opportunity being translated between each one of them or transacted between each of them. So this economic graph gives you very rich insights, very rich data, which we have used to study at this time and analyze so that we have, we can pass on those insights to the community. So now coming back to skills. So I think there are three things I will tell, which is very, very important. So number one, using economic graph data, we have figured out the top 10 in demand jobs, which we see on the platform. And this is based on not only just currently, but also we have factored in the growth of some of these jobs over the last 3-4 years, so that we have factored a little bit of sustainability of those jobs, right? So top 10 jobs, which we have identified, which we will be sharing with the professional community as well as the government agencies who will help the community to get those jobs.
So, Mr. Gupta, the jury is clearly not out on whether work at home in the long term will add to productivity or it will lead to chaos. Some HR heads and company top CEOs have told us that, look, meeting of employees is important because it's like osmosis where you change creativity and change ideas. Some fear that, some also believe that working at home gives you a better, and that is something which employees are welcoming. What is your understanding? Work from home or WFH, like we have made this new acronym, is that here to stay?
Yeah, I don't think so. There is a right and wrong in this, but I can share what through Workforce Confidence Index, what community is telling us, and then I will provide an interpretation of those results, right? So I think returning to work, being in office, what will be the workplace look like? There are many, many dimensions in this, right? It's just not like, let's just go back to work. We cannot work remotely, or the other extreme thing, let's all work remotely, right? So I think the answer lies somewhere in the middle, and it will be driven by companies' own culture and values and what kind of job, many, many different dimensions. So first of all, Workforce Confidence Index, what it is telling us is that, there are certain functions, such as marketing, project management, and engineering, which are more confident about the effectiveness of remote working. I think there can be many reasons for it, but I won't delve into it. We just asked a question in the survey, and that's what it came out. Marketing, project management, and engineering are the most confident one. I think there are certain functions which are not feeling as confident, such as HR and finance, because for them, the in-person engagements, probably the traditional style of working has been there for a long time, right? So I think that's what we're learning from a function perspective, right? So there's another factor here, right? When the lockdown started, right, early April, I think it was very sudden in a way, and a lot of people were not ready to be fully productive and successful from home. So I think, it took some time before, companies could enable them, empower them to have the right equipment, right space to work inside their home. And once that is done, what we're hearing from our members, which is very interesting, that the physical well-being and the mental health support is something which is not probably at par right now. And that's something which companies would have to do more in the future if the remote part needs to continue, right? So again, mental health and physical well-being is something which is very, very important. And lastly, I think I believe that, your own personal situation also plays a role in whether this can be done in a way or not. For example, and this is my own reflection, people who live alone, they find the space. They can find a space inside the home to, have a peaceful environment to work. On the other hand, they kind of deal with a lot of loneliness and mental health support which is needed. Families are struggling because you have kids, you have parents, each one of them have virtual classes and multiple calls. When husband and wife are working together, right, there's always so much space in Indian homes. So how do you deal with that, right? So I think I gave you three flavors. Two were database and third was my personal interpretation. But I think we'll have to wait as things evolve, as people learn, as companies reflect on this, what is the right thing for each of those individual companies, and then probably we'll know exactly how will the future shape up.
What is your view on campus placements? Because that's where the challenge is. Students who are in campus A, companies who visited campus is low. Also, a lot of companies have decided to roll back the offers which they rolled out initially. What should an aspiring student who's waiting to join his dream company, has all the necessary qualification, is not been hired because of the COVID challenge?
So this topic is close to heart. I always go back to when I passed out from IIM Lucknow in 2000. And very soon in 2001, we were hit by a little bit of startup bubble bursting, which led to a financial crisis. And, it impacted the morale of the student community. It impacted our morale on the opportunities available. So I've been also talking to a lot of colleges. I've personally been helping them think through this now last few months on what it means to each one of them. So I think career starters, as we call them, they are definitely also the distressed, like they're very distressed about the situation. But again, I think, my message has been very simple, right? If you invest your time in acquiring the right skills, they will be relevant, they will be productive, and they will be successful. All right. Now, I think that's where I won't repeat what the whole skills initiative which we have done is also relevant for the student community. But I think, that's my message to me is to them is definitely keep thinking about the skills you're acquiring. And that way you can even assuming there is a gap here, it's an assumption, right? So let's say assuming there's a gap here, things are more difficult in the next 12 months, you acquire and you're ready for when the opportunity arises. And specifically with the student community and career starters, I've been talking about 3-4 very important messages to them. First of all, right, work on your LinkedIn profile. It's very, very important to get your LinkedIn, build a robust profile, because that's where people will first come to know about you. Number 2, acquire skills and demonstrate those skills on your profile, that you have acquired those skills, so that whenever you interact with a recruiter, you are able to demonstrate that. Number 3, which is my favorite and the most important one, which has resonated with the student community a lot, that network. Your network is your net worth, right? I think we can worry about what will happen in 12 months, 18 months, but when you think about a long term, it's very, very important to build a good, strong network, and that will keep giving you back year on year. And I've shared that in the context of my own personal experience of my 20-year journey, where my network has been such a big part of my success. So I think, again, to repeat 3 things, build a very robust profile, make sure that you demonstrate skills on your profile. Open to hire is open to work is also relevant for them. It's just not about people who have directly been impacted by COVID-19, but student community, like if they are not able to find jobs, internship, they should leverage the open to work feature of LinkedIn and tell the community that they are ready to be hired. And number 3, which I said, your network is the net worth. So build a strong network, connect with people, stay close to your network, stay authentic as well, because people are struggling in this digital world. Like, how do I establish the connection? So those are the 3 things. And as I said, the network is your net worth. I resonated with the community a lot.
Okay, Ashutosh, great to have you on the show, and thanks for those tips on how to really ace one's LinkedIn profile. I'm sure it'll come in handy for all of our viewers seeking out jobs out there.